Hello, welcome to Liz at Home. Thank you for joining me for this quick video. I'm very excited. I have actually completed an entire colouring book. This Dagdrömmar, or it's known as Daydreams in English, by Hannah Carlson, published in 2015. And I got it, I think, in 2017. I started colouring in 2016 and really got into it in about 2017. And then I moved heaven and earth to get this book. In those days, you could only get it from the pen shop or something like that. I've forgotten what it was called, a Norwegian shop. And I paid a king's ransom to have it delivered to South Africa. And I was so excited by this book. And I then made a decision a little while later, probably around about 2018, to complete the book. And it's the second colouring book that I finished the whole book of. But this is the first actually artist's colouring book that I finished the whole book of, and I think it remains my favourite colouring book of all time. I just love her illustrations. So I thought I'd do a quick page through and share this with you. So there we are. There's even a little bugger lug at the bottom there. And the bunny. I see as I go through this book that my favourite colours are kind of purple and pinks. You'll see they feature on so many. This is one of my favourite pictures. I went through a stage of yellows and oranges. I did a video on how to do this sort of type of bouquet background easily. You can look, I'll put a link for it. This also remains one of my favorite pictures, and old Puddy Tat. This was my first effort at fur. This was a Facebook group challenge of trying to do something, and you had to choose a seagoing picture and use absolutely no blue. And I found it very difficult, and then I had the idea of the moonlight, and I did it with erasers, and it didn't work, and I tried to go over it, and I moved heaven and earth with this picture, and it remains a bit of a flop. I like this. I've shown this background as well on one of my background videos. I'll add a link. This is one of my few efforts with neon colors, and I actually love how it turned out. You can see some of my black backgrounds actually leaked. It was from this one. This is another one of my favorite pictures, and I did this one with inexpensive Lyra Groove slim pencils, and then a black Posca and acrylic paint background. This picture was inspired by Susan in Colouring Book Colour Along. She did a similar one in different colourway, which I asked her permission to use the inspiration of. I like this wine red background. My efforts at neo colours, I always think they're also neo colours. Never been that successful with them. I like this picture. This also, I had this idea of the rainbow hues and everything, but I think it was less than successful. This one has got some glitter paint on it. I'm not sure if you can see the shine if I do that. It was a glitter watercolor. Followed a Chris Cheng tutorial, and I thought it would never finish. She does the most incredible colouring, but I'm afraid I don't have the patience. I followed Chris Cheng's colour examples, but I had not yet learned how to blend. So we have splotches of highlight instead of nicely done highlight. I used Derwent's graphic tints for that, and I quite like that sort of stormy colour. I like this background, it was a stencil. I went through an absolute golden craze. It didn't always turn out perfectly, but this background, oh my goodness, it took forever. This side not so bad because I knew what to do, but I got Bee in my bonnet to try oil pastels. Then of course they looked awful and they were all messy, so I used some Gamsol to try and thin them. Then they were like the dog's breakfast, so then I went over it with pencil. Then it was all liney, so I used more Gamsol, and then went over it again with pencil and then more Gamsol, and it finally smoothed out. But you can see it's kind of made the other picture over here shine through. This remains one of my favorites. Again, Neocolor background. It works well for me when I'm trying to do water, but I used a bit of salt on it here, but I never quite get the beautiful effect that Elin Martinson, if you're in the coloring community, you will have seen some of the exquisite images she does. This one I used gesso on, and then I used a water brush pen, and actually it turned out the background quite nicely with the gesso, the water brush pen on there. It's made the page feel kind of plasticky, but it didn't bother the underlying page. Bit of a flop of clouds there. Can see again, oh, I do like a bit of glitter and shine here and there. It was glitter gel pens. This also remains a bit of a favorite for me. Another flop of clouds. I kept trying different things that didn't work. There we are. This is recent, and I like this background here. I used Neocolor and then went over it with pencil and then tried to get a sort of a movement out to follow the bird. This was just a Posca background. Reaching the end of the book and just wanted to finish over here. I made a bit of a mess up. I'd got my highlights all muddled up with pencil, so I went over it with gouache. And I want to, maybe I should try a live colouring using gouache in one of my books. Let me know in the comments if you'd like that. And I found it very easy to use gouache on this, and it's so much drier than watercolour that it actually didn't bother the paper at all. Dried much more quickly than watercolour. And then I used a Derwent ink pen for the white dots. I didn't use a Posca. That's also my cheat way of doing a bokeh background. This is also my cheat bokeh, and this is, I think, my favorite image in the book. I was actually really proud of that. I think it's one of my better colorings to date. Old Mr. Owl and the houses and the final page. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye now.